Tonight's headlines are brought to you by McDonald's.
Good evening, Commonwealth, and thanks for watching the Channel 2 News. I'm Sally Lemus. Let's take a look at tonight's top stories. 20 representatives and 9 senators all say yes to a new budget. Also tonight, are there still some ARPA funds left? The Finance Secretary says the numbers don't add up. And a search for a new judge is on as a Guam judge pulls out of the trial of the former governor. In sports, a coach out of Guam shows Saipan athletes some tricks. Stay with us, these stories and more are next.
What's the move?
Mickey D's McCrispy. Formerly known as the Crispy Chicken Sandwich, now has some respect on his name. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Real talk. The Spicy Crispy Chicken Sandwich should have been named Spicy McCrispy from jump. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Half a day to the Wami and good evening, Commonwealth. Today is Wednesday, April 19, 2023. The urgent call to revise the current fiscal year budget was completed today. With both the House and Senate passing the Revised Budget Act, it now sits at the governor's desk. Austerity is set to begin next Monday, which falls in line with a new budget for the remaining fiscal year. This morning, the conference committee settled its difference on the budget bill and wrapped up its final product. Senator Donna Manglonia says they were able to address the House's concerns on some changes they made in the Senate version of the budget bill.
Their main concerns was mainly the funds that were initially allocated for Tinian. From our understanding, there might be some concerns regarding what U.S. Treasury has yet to transfer over to Tinian, and so we wanted to ensure that these funds were still going over to Tinian, which could be used to address operational needs.
The committee called in Finance Secretary Tracy Norita on Tuesday, who explained that there is a liquidated cash of $3.6 million committed to address Tinian's operations and personnel.
We identified funds that Tinian could use, and so that's why we diverted the general fund allocations for Tinian to address medical referral needs.
In moving the funds, the conferees allocated an additional $400,000 to $500,000 to the medical referral program. That means with the administration's original appropriation of $1 million, the medical referral will be allocated at least $1.5 million. Both the Senate and House of Representatives held emergency sessions this afternoon, and the budget bill was passed unanimously. The bill now sits at the governor's desk for his signature, which will officially make it public law. KSPN learned Governor Arnold Palacios is currently off island on official business, but should be back tomorrow. The bill is expected to be signed into law when he gets back. Now, the legislature was tasked to revise the current fiscal year budget with the notion that there is no more ARPA funds. and that they need a new budget to reflect that. But lawmakers were shocked to hear that there are, in fact, some ARPA funds still left. Finance Secretary Tracy Narita appeared before lawmakers on Tuesday to provide assistance as the conference committee worked out the budget revision. As she testified, it was revealed that there is, in fact, still some ARPA funds left from the previous administration. That left several lawmakers confused.
So we have been having meetings weekly and with the fiscal response team. And it was the notion in the very, very beginning that there's normal ARPA. But you're saying now that those that were under 100% and to include the 20% were still being paid by ARPA.
Narita responded, stating that based on the findings of the fiscal response team, the remaining ARPA does not match the expenditures that are in the MUNIS system. She says it will take longer than a couple of weeks to actually find out what happened to the funds and where it went.
I'm trying to follow, okay, based on everything that has been said, what's been stated on the record, and you clearly just stated on the record that there is still ARPA funds left. But to my understanding, from the very beginning, when we started the fiscal team, I was under the impression that we just didn't have any ARPA, hence the need to, implement the cost containment measures, to release the ARPA-funded employees. And I do see where Rep. JP Sablon was going. So you're confidently sitting there and saying that none of the general funds was used to supplement or subsidize any ARPA expenditures?
Yes, so general fund collections have been used for general fund obligations, including prior year obligations that must get paid, such as utilities, fuel, and other such critical expenditures, GHLI. Those things still exist even when the fiscal year closes. Right. Yeah.
Narita added that looking at the reports that they put together with the ARPA spending plan versus what was actually expended in the system versus the cash balance, there is a significant difference in the unidentified expenditures on recorded expenditures. Senator Donald Magnolia.
From my understanding, there's none to address those who were 100% funded. It's what can we do now to address the ones that are our civil service employees, as well as those who are 80% funded through the general fund, rather than bringing them down to a 64 work period. Whatever left of ARPA can only sustain an additional 8 hours to assist the employees that are currently being funded through the general fund. I know we have yet to receive a revised spending plan, and that's where a lot of these, whether we do have ARPA or not, it has yet to really be determined what can be used with the remaining ARPA, because we're already deviating off of the initial spending plan. And so I know the Secretary is working hard to reconcile all the figures as well as all the expenditures, so that the administrations can submit a revised spending plan in hopes that U.S. Treasury approves that.
The CNMI will have to look for another judge to preside over the upcoming trial of former Governor Ralph Torres. Judge Pro Tem Alberto Tolentino issued a written order of recusal this morning, which withdraws his participation in the impending trial of former Governor Ralph Torres. The jury trial is set to begin on June 5th. According to the order, the recusal is due to an ongoing health issue. Tolentino, a judge from Guam, was appointed by the local Supreme Court in June last year after all 5 judges in the Saipan Superior Court recused themselves from hearing the case. Chief Solicitor Robert Glass Jr. says the Office of the Attorney General appreciates Judge Tolentino's service to the CNMI in this important case and sends its thoughts and prayers for him to get well soon. Glass is representing the Commonwealth in the criminal case against Torres. The former governor's legal team, attorneys Viola Alipudu, Victorino Torres, Matthew Hawley, and Anthony Uggan, received the sua sponte order this morning. According to Alipudu, the team prays for Judge Tolentino's speedy recovery. They also look forward to the newly assigned judge in the matter because there are pending motions before the court and very important issues that must be resolved prior to the start of the jury trial. Earlier this month, the former governor's legal counsels argued that the Attorney General's office has failed to prove that Torres had criminal intent during his first-class travels. They are asking the court to reconsider its position on its denial to dismiss the information and also provide clear guidance on what mens rea the Commonwealth must prove in the case against Torres. They are also asking the court to reconsider its denial on disqualifying the OAG as prosecutor. Torres, the former governor, was charged by the AG's office with 12 counts of misconduct in public office, 1 count of theft, and 1 count of contempt. Torres has denied the charges. All right, coming up, volleyball medalists from Saipan continue to represent all the way in Thailand.
Premium office space is available now at the Hermosa Vista Business Park on Capitol Hill. Features include dedicated parking, fast internet, backup power, good water, and natural light throughout to go along with the very best views on Saipan. So don't settle for space when you can get peace and peace of mind. Call Hermosa Vista today at 670-483-4750 or email hvsaipan@gmail.com. Green sea turtles and hawksbill turtles call the Mariana Islands home. They are an important part of the marine ecosystem. They are under threat, and they are protected under CNMI law. Keep plastic out of the ocean. Keep vehicles off the beach. Use the Sea Turtle Stranding Hotline if you see poaching activities or if you see a turtle in trouble. Call 287-8537 and save a turtle.
All workers have the right to a safe workplace. Employers must provide a workplace that is free from recognized hazards and comply with applicable OSHA standards, including proper reporting of injuries. Training needs to be done in a language and vocabulary employees can understand, and an OSHA information poster must be displayed prominently in the workplace. Workers, you have the right to raise a safety or health concern with your employer or OSHA without being retaliated against, and request an OSHA consultation of your workplace if you believe there are unsafe or unhealthy conditions. OSHA can help. Free assistance to identify and correct hazards is available to small and medium-sized employers without citation or penalty. So look out, speak up, and stay safe. Job safety and health, it's not only good practice, it's the law. Check out OSHA.gov or call 664-3154 or 3155.
Welcome back to the Channel 2 News. Local ports officials are reaching out to the federal government for a substantial but heavy assistance. The request is being looked at. Secretary Pete Buttigieg of the U.S. Department of Transportation is considering the Commonwealth's request for additional supplemental funding, which totals to $30 million. Ports Board Chairwoman Kimberly King-Hines sent an 8-page letter on Monday to Secretary Buttigieg seeking $15 million for fiscal year 2024 and another $15 million for fiscal year 2025. The requests are for funds from under the American Rescue Plan Act. According to Hines, CPA is expected to exhaust all its federal funding by the end of 2023, and the money will help in keeping the airports open until 2026. Hines says without a reliable revenue source or federal aid, CPA will not be able to maintain current operations for the upcoming fiscal year. If that happens, CPA will re-implement austerity measures, which may mean less accommodation to aircraft activities and no critical capital port infrastructure projects. Buttigieg responded, stating, quote, "Your voice is important, and my team will consider your thoughts as we work to meet the department's mission and support the administration's priorities," unquote. Among several goals of the Biden administration is the aim to create millions of good-paying jobs, move people and goods safely, and revitalize communities that have been left behind. Buttigieg says he hopes CPA will continue to share its views and follow their work. Tonight, we head to Thailand to check in on some silver medalists.
The silver medalists from the Mariana Islands are in Thailand this weekend competing in an AVC event on the sand. Logan Mister and Andrew Johnson played Thailand on Friday, and again it started at 11:50 a.m. local time. Andrew's parents traveled to Thailand to watch the tournament, and Logan's parents watched the games on Friday at Gold's Gym. Dad on the left, Mom in the middle, with some front row seats and a lunch hour. Tice Mister is dad and also the coach of the men's team. And you might say, well, why is the coach of the NMI in Saipan when the men's team is in Thailand? And the coach would probably say that he is working. The boys did their own fundraising to cover their airfare to compete in Thailand, so they went without the physical presence of a coach. But virtual coach is alive and well, and Tice watches the game and takes notes, and then the coaching comes via email after watching video of the games. The Friday morning match was on center court, which means it was streamed through the Thailand Volleyball Channel website. Thailand team jumps out to an early lead with some mistake-free play.
ค่ะยังแข่งขันต่อได้ค่ะตีมาลูกนี้เอาสวนคืนเก็บได้สุรินทร์เคาะมารองไว้ทันค่ะแล้วตีค่ะมาลูกนี้ค่ะโอ้แอนดริวโอ้แม่นเส้นเลยค่ะคราวนี้ลงนะคะ
Samilla Beach is a 3-kilometer stretch of white sand in the popular tourist town of Songkhla near Hat Yai in southern Thailand. This is the 22nd version of the volleyball tournament, and 24 teams, men's teams, made the visit from places like China, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Thailand, and beyond. Andrew and Logan won a silver medal in the Pacific Mini Games last June on the island of Saipan, narrowly missing gold, and the duo is expected to represent the NMI later this year in the Pacific Games, which will be held in the Solomon Islands, and they will go in with firm medal expectations. Logan currently attending the University of Hawaii, Manoa, while Andrew, following in his dad's accounting footsteps, is working for a small accounting firm in Central California. Both are training actively. First game action, fierce and hot, with Logan up to block and Andrew playing defense, but the Thai team just too tough. They hit when they needed to hit, they dinked when they needed to dink, and they rarely missed a shot. Our boys lose the first game 21-14. It is best of 3. The first 2 games go to 21, and the third game, if necessary, goes to 15. Heat, a definite factor. No clouds, and the weather posed a bit of a challenge for our guys. Game 2, score tied. NMI needs this one, and Mister goes off the court for a timeout as he is battling heat and exhaustion and an upset stomach. They would go on to win the next point, but they would lose that second game 21-17 in a knockout drag-on affair. Overall, the match took 39 minutes. Match 2 later in the day against a tough Indonesian team, and Indonesia would take that 21-14 and 21-14. Thailand and Indonesia advanced to the round of 16. On the women's side of things, Vanuatu, who played for the gold medal here in the NMI and the mini games, plays for third place against Thailand. Women's finals, China versus Japan, and China is going to take the win in that match. In the men's final, Thailand versus China, and China men win. It's a clean sweep. The third place game was New Zealand versus Indonesia. Andrew and Logan played an exhibition match against Finland on Monday and are now headed back to their respective homes. Chris Nelson for the Channel 2 News.
All right, thank you, Chris. Now, folks, don't go anywhere. We still have summer sports up next.
Need a new phone? Trade in now and get up to $500 off our best 5G devices. Trade in your older phone in any condition and step up to better savings and speeds only our 5G network can provide. Check out our website and catch up on the best mobile experience. Trade in now. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Premium office space is available now at the Hermosa Vista Business Park on Capitol Hill. Features include dedicated parking, fast internet, backup power, good water, and natural light throughout to go along with the very best views on Saipan. So don't settle for space when you can get peace and peace of mind. Call Hermosa Vista today at 670-483-4750 or email hvsaipan@gmail.com. Hey, golfers, come north and practice your game at the Marianas Driving Range. New Year's local specials. 10-piece coupon books available for just $60. That's a $10 savings. Want to get really good? Come work on your swing every day for just $99 per month. It's our practice pass and you're going to love it. Grab your passes and go straight to the range. You can social distance and chip all at the same time and the views are free. Reserve now at marianastrekking.com. You can pay online, open 7 days a week.
Buenas sports fans.
A notable basketball coach from our sister islands gives some locals some tips and advices. Guam Basketball Confederation President and Guam National Team Head Coach E.J. Calvo was here on Saipan for a free coaching clinic at the Gilbert C. Atta Gym on Saturday.
We started with just a discussion with coaches, talking about building the culture of a program, how to improve and work on player development. And of course, team concepts, and took some notes. We're going to get on the court now and work out the players and go through some drills and techniques that I think will help the young players going forward.
Calvo has been a big part of Guam's basketball since 2002. He was a very successful player, coach, and administrator.
I try to do clinics for coaches whenever I can. I've held a few clinics in Guam. I've also helped other islands in Micronesia that have asked me to come and contribute and share some knowledge. I've been part of the national program since about 2002, so as a player, and then I was coaching the men's national team since 2012. So over a decade of coaching the men's national team in Guam. The NMI Basketball Federation is doing a good job to grow the program, establish good fundamentals at the youth level, obviously help develop more coaches in Saipan and the islands who are really going to do the work with the youth. And that's the key, is you build on the youth and eventually they will be the ones representing Saipan and the NMI in future competitions.
Marlene Lumabi from NMI Basketball Federation is grateful that EJ Calvo accepted their invitation to conduct a clinic here on Saipan.
Right now we are having a coaches clinic with EJ Calvo. He is one of the coaches down from Guam and also is one of the board directors for the Guam National Basketball Federation. The reason why we connected with him was because, one, we wanted to build a really good relationship with Guam since they are one of our sister islands. So that's one of the reasons why we went ahead and reached out to him. On top of that, he has a great resume. If we could also send that to you, if anything, to show you guys how it looks. He has really great. I've seen a couple of games that he's coached, and he's done a really great job with the Guam team. A little brief of what he talked over with us. There was a lot of information, really information that we already know, but he better elaborated them, and basically as a reminder for coaches. The big one that I really liked, like what he touched on, was the culture. Building a strong foundation really sets the tone for a team and an organization. So that really hit a reminder, like, it doesn't only go for basketball, but in general, like if you don't set a good foundation, it does hit you in the long run.
KSPN also spoke with some of the people who joined the clinic on Saturday.
From a player's perspective, it was a good insight to what coaches go through and what they should do to keep all players committed to staying as a group. And like what Coach Calvo said was to build the culture. I feel like that was my biggest takeaway with his whole clinic, was the culture that he's able to instill into his program and to his players. And if all players stick to that culture, then it would be a successful program.
From the clinic today, I learned a lot, especially on offense, on defense. Usually we practice and we're just like practicing like the general stuff, but with the clinic today, I got to learn like a lot more like in detail type of things, like how to play better defense, how to cut off people, especially like it really helps. Offense, I learned a lot of transition stuff, a lot of fast break stuff, a lot of teamwork.
With Coach EJ's practice, it was definitely helpful with learning how to dribble and stuff, with like getting better at our handling skills, and also learning transition offense. It was very beneficial for us.
Calvo holds the record for the most wins as Guam national team coach, with over 40 victories and only 3 losses in the FIBA sanctioned basketball games. He is the only Guam coach to ever win 2 gold medals in the Pacific Games and 3 gold medals in the Micronesia tournaments.
Hi, I'm Dre, one of the personal trainers here at Goat's Gym, and today we're going to show you a Bulgarian split squat, a fantastic lower body exercise that should be a main staple in your training. Now the first thing we want to address is the rear foot placement. Now whether it's toes on or toes off, just find what's comfortable for you. The bigger issue we want to tackle is the height of the box or bench. You see, when you set up on a box or a bench that's too high, that inherently puts an aggressive stretch on the front of your hip. Oftentimes, that sensation will take away from the working leg, the leg that's on the floor. And when you start to add load in this faulty position, you're bound to run into some problems, particularly if you got some mobility restrictions. So Jamila's gonna set up, she's gonna descend with control, and from there just stand tall.
And for your KSPN weather report, today mostly sunny with isolated showers, east wind 18 to 21 miles per hour, and gusts as high as 25 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy with isolated showers, East wind 14 to 18 miles per hour and gusts up to 23 miles per hour, high 85, low 77. Humidity is at 66%. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with isolated showers. East wind 15 to 18 miles per hour and gusts as high as 23 miles per hour, high 85, low 77. Your marine forecast in east wind 15 to 20 knots, wind waves 4 to 5 feet, east swell 5 to 6 feet. Tonight through Friday, east wind 15 to 20 knots, wind waves 3 to 5 feet, east swell 5 to 7 feet. The sunrise will be at 6 a.m., high tide 7:31 p.m., low tide 1:29 p.m., and the sunset 6:32 p.m. All right, Marianas, that is your midweek edition of the news, sports, and weather. Thank you so much for watching the Channel 2 News. We hope you have a great night, and we see you back here on Friday.